Good morning. Today is Friday. Can you feel it? It's Friday. And it is also September. I know, I've been going on this for like a week, but holy cow, it's here. Fall is tipping around that corner. If we can just get out of this heat wave, and then we're in the cool weather, and I get to wear sweaters again. That's what I'm excited about. Sweaters. Okay. Enough about me. Let's start with a daily reflection on the New Testament. Pilate took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye to it. Then answered all the people and said, His blood be on us and on our children. Matthew 27, verses 24 through 25. I'm sure your children are very thankful for that. All right. Pilate followed the Jewish practice of performing a ceremonial hand washing to absolve himself of responsibility of Jesus' death. But he could never be fully free from culpability. His name is forever linked with the crucifixion of Christ. Pilate's lack of moral courage and his accountability for the suffering of Jesus pale in comparison, however, to the bloodthirsty cries of the crowd who demanded the death of Christ. Some 500 years earlier, the Nephite prophet Jacob prophesied, after they have hardened their hearts and stiffened their necks against the Holy One of Israel, behold, the judgments of the Holy One of Israel shall come upon them, and the day cometh that they shall be smitten and afflicted. Ugh. Ugh. All right. My hair's everywhere. We cannot spurn the light without opening ourselves to a life of darkness. Okay. So, today is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 18 through 34. And whereas the first half of the chapter, you're kind of like, what? The last half is really good. Like, I was surprised at how good it was. I was like, thank you, Paul. I loved it. So, he's talking about how there's some disputations in the church. Surprise, surprise. And when they come together to have the Lord's Sacrament, it's more of a party. And they get a little drunk. And he starts to condemn them. Let's see. For in eating, everyone taketh before other his own supper, and one is hungry, and another is drunken. What? Have ye not houses to eat and to drink in? Or despise ye the church of God, and shame them that have not? What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? I praise you not. You're like, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul, for speaking clearly. I appreciate it so much. And then he goes in to saying the purpose of the sacrament, what Jesus said about it, how Paul was, it says he was there, but I don't know if he was. But I don't know. But the verses I chose for my personal statement are verses 28 and 29. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. But really what I wanted to do was jump down to 31, 32. Have those joined. For if we judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. I'm going to highlight those later. But anyways, I chose this because I always talk I used to always talk on the polo here about self-evaluation, how necessary it is to do a self-evaluation, to check yourself where you are within standing to your family, Jesus Christ, the gospel, so on and so forth. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's kind of the gist of what he's saying here, is if you judge yourself, then, the Lord won't judge you. So to speak, you're going to be judged. But if you judge yourself and you make sure that you are, following the commandments as best as you absolutely can, if you're doing your duty, he's going to be like, yeah, you've done what you could. I appreciate that. Thank you. However, if you judge not yourself, he's going to judge you. And he's going to, what does it say? He's going to chastise you so that you shouldn't be condemned with the world. He's going to chastise you until you get back in line. So you either judge yourself or he's going to judge you. Which one do you want? I want to judge myself. So I wrote, I must regularly do a self-evaluation. I should examine myself daily. So that's what I got from this chapter. This last half of the chapter, I thought it was really good. So let's do the verse by verse for the whole chapter, because we did Jeffrey yesterday. Okay. Alright, for verses 1 through 15, Paul discusses acceptable behavior and so forth in worship. For verses 4 through 6, these verses deal with local customs or traditions. Verse 3 reminds us that everyone is acceptable to somebody else. Even Christ is accountable to someone else. Even Christ is subject to the Father. Verse 3 and 4 combined reflect a play on words. The sociology and spiritual. Verse 5 discuss women praying and prophesying. It has been said that women are, by nature, generally more spiritually inclined than men. A woman's head is the husband. It was the custom then for women to have their hair covered, and it was considered by some to be sexually stimulating to refrain from doing so. Men and women cannot be with the Lord eternally without each other. We are exalted only in couples. Verse 14 is a provocative question. Verse 19, there will always be heresies that separate the sheep from the goats. Doctrine is the great divider. For verses 20 through 30, this is a beautiful treatise on the sacrament and an abomination to partake of it unworthily. Gluttony and shameful behavior dishonor the sacrament. More details and explanations on the purpose of the Last Supper are recorded here than in any other account. Paul writes of those details, though he was not present. Thus, the sacred event may have been preserved in writings culminating at the time. Circulating. I can't read today. I can't read any day, but anyways. Or perhaps Paul learned much about the sacred event from his association with the others of the 12. On partaking of the sacrament unworthily, compare 3 Nephi 18, verses 28 through 30. All right. That is all for today. I will now leave you with a prayer from a diary of prayer. It is the first. Goodness gracious. All right. So this first set of prayers is praise and thanksgiving. And this one for today, Cadmon's hymn between 657 and 680 AD. Now we must praise the ruler of heaven, the might of the Lord and his purpose of mind, the work of the glorious Father, for he, God eternal, established each wonder. He, holy Creator, first fashioned the heavens as a roof for the children of earth, and then our guardian, the everlasting Lord, adorned this middle earth for men. Praise the Almighty King of heaven. All right. That was 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 18 through 34. And tomorrow, which is Saturday, is 1 Corinthians chapter 12. We will see you then. Bye.